soy milk always fails the 20% rule. Soy is an estrogen mimicker. So if you have a little boy and you give him estrogen-inducing foods and drinks, he's going to end up with little girl parts. Not a good way to go through middle and high school. But if you have a little girl and you give her frequent amounts of soy, she'll end up with bigger parts, and she probably doesn't want that early in life as well. And when it comes to the way we absorb soy protein, these intestinal cells have these receptors also, right? And there's two ways to absorb protein. One is called active diffusion and the other one is called passive diffusion. When a little amino acid is going down your intestines, passive diffusion just means you can just sneak that amino acid right in there without a problem. Active diffusion, which is soy, means that the amino acid binds to a receptor, right? And the receptor pulls it in. When they make soy isolates, what happens is they bind to an essential amino acid to a non-essential amino acid, causing the little amino acid that binds to that receptor to have a big chunk on it. But when that receptor pulls it in, it creates tears or perforations, which means piercings, like irritable bowel syndrome or in all sorts of other stomach problems. There's like 73 different research articles showing the dangers of using soy in general. So when I look at a protein bar or a protein powder that contains soy isolates, personally, I avoid them, and I recommend so should you. The only receptors that men have for estrogen is right here, right? So if a man starts feeling tenderness around the nipple region, they could end up having the problem from soy. And there's many athletes to get that also get that. But when we look at hormones, we start with cholesterol, and our body changes some of the bonds in our cholesterol and makes it into testosterone. And then you change that one bond over and testosterone becomes estrogen. So if you make too much testosterone as an athlete or somebody that's exercising, you're male, it could aromatize, or what they call converted, and become estrogen. And that's how guys end up with gynecomastia, which is male breast development or man boobs. The other way that happens is people that take too much testosterone, like pro bodybuilders or somebody that's trying to enhance their physique, it aromatizes and becomes estrogen and ends up with gynecomastia again. Perhaps that's okay because that guy knew beforehand it's directly from a drug he's using, but why give your little kid soy and have them go through childhood with all these problems? That's my point. So if the kids have an allergy to milk, it's usually either because of lactose intolerance, so which means they can't digest sugar inside milk called lactase. So you can either drink something like Lactaid, which means milk that's already been pre-digested, so that the sugars are no problem, or if they are completely allergic to milk, they can use almond milk or rice milk. They're safe and they're good alternatives. Anything you want but soy.